Hey everybody, good morning, good day, good evening, wherever or whenever you're watching this. I hope you're able to sprinkle a little extra good into your day. Welcome to Tao of Tay. I'm Tay. This is my channel where I'm going to be sharing daily meditations and personal stories to not only bring some harmony and peace back into my life, but maybe that's something that will resonate with you and there can be like a little takeaway that you can ponder throughout the rest of the day for yourself, or and just, bring some peace and harmony back into your life, because as we've all felt from 2020 going into 21, we could all use it, so that's what I'm here to do for you. So I'll be reading from the Daily Stoic. This is meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living. I like starting my days out with a mini meditation because it helps to just open up your own perspective. Sometimes we can be in our own, in little enclosed worlds, and we need to start thinking outside of the picture or outside of the box. I've noticed that this little routine in the morning is almost like a little spark of light in a dark room, if that makes sense. And we all know how dark 2020 was. So let's light this baby up. So we're starting off, obviously, January 1st today. And I like these because each month is a different theme. Like this one's gonna be clarity. May is right action. There's different themes for different months. All right, January 1st, control and choice. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. Now, I always say this name wrong. Very famous philosopher, Epictetus. I always want to say Epictetus or something like that, but I think it's Epictetus, which is a very epic name. And then there's a little blurb under it to explain. The single most important practice in Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we cannot, what we have influence over and what we do not. A flight is delayed because of weather. No amount of yelling at an airline representative will end a storm. No amount of wishing will make you taller or shorter or born in a different country. No matter how hard you try, you can't make someone like you. And on top of that, time spent hurling yourself at these immovable objects is time not spent on the things that we can change. The recovery community practices something called the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Addicts cannot change the abuse suffered in childhood. They cannot undo the choices they have made or the hurt that they have caused. But they can change the future through the power they have in the present moment. As Epictetus said, they can control the choices they make right now. And the same is true for us today. If we can focus on making clear what parts of our day are within our control and which parts are not, we will not only be happier, we will have a distinct advantage over other people who fail to realize they are fighting an unwinnable battle. That's a good one. And that's so true, it's like us humans, we love control. I mean, look at anything that has to do with us humans. Boxes, straight lines, things that do not occur naturally in nature, right? Always trying to control. But they are right, the most important Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we cannot. You cannot change what has happened to you, but you have influence over what you can change in the future through the power that they have in the present moment. And for example, if I'm stuck in traffic, I can be, and this is true, something that I'm working on, I can be white knuckling the steering wheel. I could be cursing out every person next to me who's all doing the same thing, just trying to get from point A to point B. It's all the same journey, right? But me being a little bitch in my car, or me cursing at other people, or like getting in a full panic and sweat and literally ruining my present moment when I could be enjoying, you know, the song that's on in the car or the podcast I'm listening to, or maybe just a moment of like, hey, you know what, we're stuck in traffic. I'm just gonna chill for a little bit. This is my moment to like just be. But no, I go right into fight or flight. I start panicking and I'm like, get the fuck out of my way, you know? But I can't control that. But what I can't control the traffic, but I can control my reaction. I don't have to be that bitch. I don't have to be cursing up the storm. I don't have to be sweating in my new like sweater. And then when I get to the place that I need to be at, all stinky, all rancid, like it's not a good time for anybody. And especially the person who is in it, because you're ruining your own peace. Again, in that present moment. If you can't control it, dude, just chill. But then there are things that we can control. You know, like maybe I could have left the house a little bit earlier. I'm constantly running behind time. So maybe I need to start going to bed earlier so I can wake up earlier, so that way I can get to my destination a little bit more on time. But again, some things that you can control, some things you can't, and it's all about knowing that difference. Or another example, growing up, you know, I didn't grow up in like poverty, but I didn't grow up well off either. I was just right in between that, like middle class, whatever. Like we did okay. I'm not trying to say anything here. Like we did okay. But just like any kid, when you're growing up, especially that pubescent time where there's just chaos everywhere in your mind, your hormones, your body, like it's a hard time. We all know. You do that constant like comparing to others. I remember, you know, I'd go over to a friend's house after school and they would have a bigger house. Maybe one of those like U driveways, which for some reason I always thought growing up that rich people had the U driveways. Or like rich people they didn't leave their soap out on their kitchen counter. They had it in like the nice fancy soap dispenser. You know, so I would do all these comparisons. Oh, they have this and I don't. They have this and my family doesn't. And so then I'm constantly coming from a perspective of lack. You know, but I can be that kid that's like, oh, why wasn't I born into a rich family? Why wasn't I this? Why wasn't I that? But I have no control over that. And I'm taking away from the present moment of enjoying what my family did have. And, you know, the little things in life. And you know, I can sit here and I could resent them for that. Or I could be grateful for the things that we had, and the things that I wish that we would have had, I could put my time and energy, instead of resenting them, I could put my time and energy into making the life that I want, so I could bring in the wealth and the lifestyle that I want. Does that make sense? Humans, we are just such funny creatures. We need to learn how to like just give up some control. Because it's also like when you try to hold on to something too tight, it starts to like you're grasping at it, right? And then it starts to like ooze out of your fingers. So you just have to let go. So another example, I'm currently reading I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. Fantastic book. It's about the search for the Golden State Killer. So, you know, some heavy dark stuff in there. Makes anybody, especially a female, paranoid. Fantastic book though. Highly recommend. So what would happen is I would go for my nightly walk, and with reading this book, I'm like already kind of on edge. I'm already at a heightened state of like paranoia and like, what's that in the bushes? Oh my god, is that a car? Like just, you know, paranoid. Didn't help that I had smoked as well, so I was even more altered. So I'm going on my walks. I'm constantly like looking over my shoulder, again, like looking at the tree lines. Is there anybody hiding out there? Like, oh, there's a person in the garage. Ugh. Which I know is like the... Oh, okay. So when it comes back to the control is, yeah, I can take every precaution, as anyone should, of locking your doors, shutting your blinds at night. If you have a sliding glass door, get one of those poles, or like the little wooden pole that you can put so that way people can't easily open those doors up. Again, things that like we all should be doing, of course, And it's okay to take precautions. There's real danger out there. I'm not saying like, oh, live in fear or anything. No, don't do that. But of course, take precautions. But if I let my thoughts keep going and I just sink deeper and deeper into that fear and into that paranoia, then every night I'm gonna do my routine of locking up the doors, locking every window. But then I could also take it a step further and I could lock myself into a panic room, and I could be freaking out every night that a murderer or a killer is gonna come into my house. Again, take the precautions because real danger does exist. But I cannot be living every single night of my life terrified, in a complete panic, because again, I'm just ruining my present moment. Locking the doors and windows, that falls under your umbrella of control. That's what you can do, for sure. But what you cannot do is like go into full-blown Will Smith, I Am Legend, like bunkering down, lockdown every single night, worried that the zombies are gonna come in, because that's not healthy. That's not healthy. Because that's not healthy, and that's only taking away your peace. You know, so maybe take a moment to sit down today and ask yourself, what are some things that I can control? Like, what do I have choices in that I can still control in my life reasonably in a healthy, habitual way? And what are some things that I've been trying to control and I've been holding on too tightly? And what are some things that maybe I can kind of let go of that strong grip? And also, if our plate is full with the things that we're trying to control that we just don't have the control over, if we let some of those things fall off, then there's going to be room to add to our plate the things that like we have choices in, and the things that we can control, and the things that we want to do. We're making space and room. We're making space and room and giving ourselves a little bit more time throughout the day to enjoy the things that we like, to enjoy the things that bring us joy and peace and harmony and bliss and happiness. Because let's face it, we could all use just a little bit more of that in our lives, especially going into 21. So, you know, maybe that's something that you can sit with today. I know I am. I'm gonna do a little bit of journaling after this, and yeah, if you want to let me know in the comments down below, you know, something that you have choice over or control over and something you're willing to let go of, please feel free to share that down below. If this is something that resonated with you and you'd like to see more of this, because I plan to do this every day, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I know I feel so stupid having to say that, but that's the way that the world of YouTube works. So give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, notifications on, and I will see you in the next one.